In light of the nationwide protests, coaches from all levels and all leagues taking this time to talk to their players to try to better understand the message. I'm Sierra Goodwill, here with Evan Lazar and Taylor Kyles. Bill Belichick and the Patriots, no exception to this. Belichick reportedly has been having private conversations with his players about the issues. I'm going to read one statement from Matthew Slater on what it's been like. He said, "I think coach has had a good, healthy understanding of the gravity of the situation and the times that we're living in. I think he's done a good job of trying to listen, trying to learn and hear from his players, and trying to navigate this as best he can." Guys, in your estimation, do you think this insinuates that Belichick still has a long way to go because he's trying to do all these things? Slater isn't saying necessarily that he's fully doing.
I think that with Belichick, first of all, I think that he's trying to learn as much as everybody else is trying to learn about the experiences, about the issues. And I think that he looks at the guys that he has on his team, and he's got the McCourty twins, and he's got Slater. He's got these guys that are really just smart, shrewd, sharp human beings and really understand what's going on way better than he could ever understand it. So I think what he's done a great job of is kind of letting those people have their voice and let those people have their say in these things. Let McCourty, let Slater go on, in the media and talk out and speak out. Let the team release a statement through the Kraft family. And then he's also brought in, members of the ACLU and other organizations to try to talk to the players and try to talk to the team on an issue that, quite frankly, Bill Belichick's a genius about football, but he's not a genius when it comes to racial injustice. So I think that what he's allowing the people that are, the experts in that field talk about it and not kind of overstepping his bounds and talking about something that he's not necessarily very educated or familiar with.
Yeah, we know Bill Belichick doesn't really subscribe to the whole kind of PR mindset where you have to make a statement, you got to make it quickly, and it's got to be this perfect thing. I think he's already made comments, so people have a general idea of the respect he has for his players and them exercising their rights and protesting and things like that. But like you said, Evan, I think he's a smart guy in that he understands that this is a time for people who aren't very well versed to just listen and to take a step back. And like you said, they've got vocal leaders on the team. Like these are like Slater and the McCourty twins are very vocal when it comes to racial injustice and social equality when it comes to NFL players. So I respect the approach that Belichick is taking. I think people, when considering he's such a big figure, may expect him to come out with a statement. But again, he's not the kind of guy who reiterates something if he said it once. You can go back and see the comments that he's made, and I'm sure that if anything changes or he feels significantly different, he may say something, definitely to the team. I don't know if it's going to be to the public necessarily, but I respect the steps that he's taking and, like Evan said, listening, trying to get the insight from the players who know better than he does, and just being more of a listener instead of, a voice that doesn't really have a real knowledge or is well versed in what he's talking about.
Back in 2016, Belichick was vocal about his support for Donald Trump, and during the NFL protest situation, he stayed kind of close-lipped about where his stance was, but he's seen as a conservative, old-school type of guy, which is why some people might think that he owes his players or owes Patriots fans any sort of statement. We've seen really well-known coaches across different leagues come out and really explicitly share where they stand. Does Belichick owe that to any of us?
I don't think Belichick owes anything to anyone in terms of a statement. The thing that does surprise me about it, that he hasn't come out and said something, is now he's opening himself up to questioning by the media when we do eventually get to speak to him again along these lines. Usually when he releases a statement and then he'll just say, he'll fall back on the statement. I already talked about that. We don't need to talk about that again. Well, now he hasn't talked about it publicly. So the next time he gets in front of a microphone or in front of a podium, which might not be until the end of July. He might have some time to kill before then. But once he gets to that point, there's going to be questions about this. And I think that's really a thing that the Patriots don't necessarily want, is to have everybody and the whole topic of conversation routinely be about social injustice and police brutality and not necessarily focused on football. But maybe that is what they want. Maybe that they're turning a new leaf in this, and maybe they want to be more vocal and they want to be more outspoken, and they want to give these players the platform to go out there and speak. And I think that would be a breath of fresh air. I think that would be a nice thing if the Patriots have finally decided that enough is enough. And this is sort of the line that, for a lot of people, this, the George Floyd murder and all this kind of stuff has sort of been the line of finally we're going to make some change and we're actually going to put some effort in to make a change. And maybe that's where the Patriots are at as an organization.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he owes anybody anything, but I also think that if he listens to his players and they feel that it's important for him and someone in his position to make a statement, I think we'll kind of see how that plays out. And if behind closed doors they say, you know what, your character is pretty much spoken for, like he said in the past, how his mentor figures when he was coming up and when he played football himself, how he appreciated the fact that, obviously, I don't want to say didn't see color because I think that's a horrible thing to say and it completely dismisses the issue. But he's shown an appreciation for diversity within his teams and, having a lot of people come together for a common cause. And he's never had any history or anything like that where it's anything discriminatory or anything like that. So I think his character in the past, his statements in the past, give you enough to go on that it's not like, well, what does Bill Belichick think of this? And where, people are kind of just hanging in the air, not knowing what this conservative-minded guy is thinking. He is someone who is vocal about his desire to have that sense of, especially on his team, where it doesn't matter where you come from or whatever, it matters what happens when you're there. But we also know that behind the scenes, he does a lot when it comes to making sure that his team is really tight-knit in terms of activities and people who speak. He actually had someone from the ACLU speak last year as well. It's not just a new thing. So I think he's pretty well versed in at least understanding when things need to be addressed, what topics are kind of hot button and things that could come up in the season that need to be addressed. So like you said, Evan, when he's opened up to questioning, I guess we'll see how he handles that. But I think, he's got enough of a history that it's not too mysterious where his broad thoughts lie on this type of issue.
When you have Matthew Slater on your team, when it comes to these sort of things, just let Matthew Slater and the McCourties talk. Just let those two guys lead the way and let everyone follow, because those guys, not only in this instance, but in all instances, are just tremendous leaders and tremendous resources and knowledge for the team. And when you have a guy like Slater in the locker room, just let him take the lead.
Absolutely. And for all the rest of our Patriots and NFL coverage, you can find it on our website at clnsmedia.com and on our YouTube channel at Patriots Press Pass.